So I was just filming a video about how college is hard and college sucks and blah 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 blah. It doesn't really suck. But then I started talking about emotions and feelings, and I was like, ooh, this is gonna take a while. This is really gonna take a while. And I started talking, here, let me just get comfortable. I started talking about my sexuality, and it made me realize that I don't have a future in regards to another person in my future. Does that make sense? I think that makes sense. I don't know. I really don't know. I'm demisexual, which basically is under the umbrella of asexual. Okay, so being demisexual, according to Google, let me read this to you. According to Google, a demisexual is a person who does not experience sexual attraction unless they form a strong emotional connection with someone. It's more commonly seen in, but by no means confined to, romantic relationships. The term demisexual comes from the orientation being halfway between sexual and asexual. So that's where I sit. And I think, honestly, I lean more towards being asexual. Or I'm just flippin' scared. I don't know. Because I grew up in a sheltered environment. I never got out a lot. And I never, like, all my friends around me, they're like, I have boyfriends and girlfriends. And I'm over here like, I have homework. And sometimes it gets you down, you know? I love who I am as a person. I've experienced insecurities. I don't want to say everyone goes through a time in their life, but most people, I think, go through a time in their life when they experience depression. Maybe not everyone goes through periods in their life where they self-harm. And sometimes those creep back up on you. I know this video is kind of like my own little form of self-therapy because the last semester in college has gotten me so stressed out and anxious. Not really stressed, more as it just makes me anxious. I'm not a person that gets stressed. I get really anxious though. And the last semester has gotten me very, very anxious, and I reverted back to some of those things that I used to do like 6 years ago. And it just makes you stop and think about, I have come all this way and nothing has changed at all. But being demisexual is something I'm actually happy for. I love to focus on my schoolwork, which, great, good for me. I'm pulling 90s in all my classes. It really makes you think about what's gonna be in your future. I had someone ask me the other day, where do you see yourself 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road? And I just kind of sat there with a deer in the headlights look, because they're expecting me to say married with a husband, maybe a kid, maybe a dog, living happily ever after, being a stay-at-home parent. And I'm like, I don't see any of that in my future, which terrifies me to the core, because humans crave connection. We are humans. That's how God built us, to be with one another. And when you are a person who doesn't really like other people, or isn't very social, or has issues and troubles understanding things like Tinder or one-night stands, someone who doesn't drink, who really is like the least fun person on the planet, me, it terrifies you, because you don't want to end up alone. And sure, you're probably like, Megan, you have horses, you have cats, you have friends. I'm like, yeah, I do. But do my horses and cats talk to me? No, they don't. In their own ways they do, which I'm grateful for. I love them for it. It's made me a better person. I don't think it has. I just want to let people know that it's okay to feel scared and not understand what your future is going to look like. It's okay to be like, hey, I don't know if I'm ever going to get married. Don't know if I'm ever going to date. That's just who I am. And it makes me tear up a little bit. Oh my goodness, Megan, stop being such an emotional poop. But it's okay, because everything does, I'm a firm believer in everything happens for a reason because God wants it to be like that. Video doesn't really have a point. It's just to explain that I'm demisexual and I'm kind of okay with that. I'm on board with it. This is not like a cry to be like, please date me. This is just a video about being okay with your sexuality and who you are, and understanding that maybe everyone around you is having sex and doing drugs and drinking and Snapchatting you pictures of them with their boyfriends, and you're just like, well, I have my cats. And that's an okay thing. It's okay to not be okay with that. Yeah, it's okay to not be okay. And that's where I'm gonna leave it. It's okay to not be okay.